Have you ever wondered if you've got enough money compared to the people who are the same age as you? Today, I'm breaking down the average net worth of NHS workers by age, and more importantly, what I'm doing to be able to retire by the age of 50. So feel free to skip to whichever bit is the most relevant to you. Welcome back everyone. If you're new here, my name is Nico. I'm a Band 7 respiratory physio in the NHS in London, and my channel is dedicated to healthcare workers who want to build wealth in their life and their finances whilst avoiding the burnout. In finance, your net worth equals your total assets minus your total liabilities. In other words, if you sold everything you own today and paid off all your debts, your net worth is how much you would have left over. According to the UK Wealth Surveys and the NHS Pension contributions for 2025, this is what the net worth for NHS workers will look like from the age of 22 to the age of 59. So the average net worth for 25 years old will be approximately between £20,000 and £40,000, compared to 45 years old who would have an average net worth of between £150,000 and £350,000. But you may have heard people talk about the NHS Pension scheme, which is one of the best pension schemes in the country, which looks really good on paper. Big problem is you can't touch it until you reach pension age, which is linked to the state pension age. And as it stands, it's 68. Oh, no. The UK government justifies this as medical progress means life expectancy is likely to increase as well. There is an option to withdraw your money a bit earlier, but there's a penalty that you need to be aware of, which would mean you would lose up to 40% of your whole pension entitlement. Basically, not worth it considering you've worked so hard for so many years. But personally, I don't want to be working until I'm too old to enjoy life. And really, it's the key point here. The NHS pension scheme, and in fact most of the workplace pensions, are really amazing. But your money is locked at least until the age of 68. So if I want to retire between the age of 50 to 55, then I need a pot of money that will last me for at least 18 years. And so I came up with an early retirement plan, which I'll share shortly towards the end of this video. Before we continue, can you click on the like and subscribe button? It's free, easy, and it helps me reach more people. So now, let's have a look at what can be done and what I'm doing to be able to bridge this gap. The only way to retire early is to be able to get your money to work as hard as you did to get it. The aim is to stop trading time for money. That's called financial freedom. The best way to do this in the UK is through having a stocks and shares ISA account. And there's lots of platforms where you could do this. For example, Trading 212, which is free to sign up, and you can start with as little as £1 at the time of recording. If you're not super familiar with investing in stocks and shares ISA, don't worry. I'm going to be releasing a series for NHS workers who want to get started with investing but are not sure where to start. So make sure to click on that subscribe button so you don't miss out. In a nutshell, in a stocks and shares ISA, I invest about £700 in a variety of stocks or funds, which is 20% of my net pay each month. Essentially, I buy a tiny part of these companies. The high quality ones like Apple or other big American tech companies usually do very well over a long period of time because they constantly reinvest the money they make back into the company so that they're able to continue innovating. If the company does well, then my share of the company will also grow, a bit like crops would. Now, a lot of people say it's very risky because share prices do go up and down and so does the volume you own. It's called volatility. But if we look at the average return over 70 years of the most known index fund called the S&P 500, which groups the top 500 US companies, on average it returns 8% every year, and this accounts for inflation, which means every 7 years your portfolio doubles in value. Other people say having a savings account or a cash ISA account is safer. It's true, but your returns will be a lot less, so let's break this down a bit. A cash ISA account, as it stands, returns about 4% annually, which is not bad, but it's linked to the Bank of England rate, which varies. And after inflation, which is about 2 to 3% in the UK in 2025, your actual return is probably about 1 to 2%, compared to 8% if you had put that money into the S&P 500. As for a savings account, some banks offer an interest rate of 7%, which is really good, but there are a few restrictions to be aware of. For example, your monthly contributions are capped, and that's usually up to £300 to £400 a month. Your withdrawals are also capped to once to 3 times a year, and there is a limited time frame on how long you can hold that account for. Usually it's between 1 to 3 years, which means the compound effect is very limited. And also, in a standard savings account, your gains count towards your capital gains, which may be taxed. If you're still not convinced, let's have a look at this compound interest calculator together. So starting today, if you put £500 into the S&P 500 with no previous contributions, which will return on average 8% annually, including inflation, if you put down £500 monthly for 20 years, you will have contributed £120,000, which could become £297,000. And if we did the same for 40 years, you now would have contributed £240,000, which could be worth £1.8 million. And this is the power of compound interest. Time and consistency are super important. Furthermore, in the UK, we're allowed to invest up to £20,000 into a stocks and shares ISA every single year, which means the whole value of your portfolio plus any gains on top will be completely tax-free. You don't have to put as much as I do straight away. Even if you put £100 to £200 a month in your 20s to your 30s, that could still give you a six-figure pot of money in your 50s. I'm going to put the link for the calculator in the description below, so you can have a little play with your own numbers in your own time and see what your money could be worth in future. But now I'm curious to know, have you got any better plans for your older days? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you need help sorting out the next steps towards your financial freedom, or if you're completely lost, I currently offer one-to-one coaching services completely remotely, so you don't have to travel anywhere. If that sounds good, drop me an email in the address below. It really takes only 2 minutes and it could really change the trajectory of your life in a positive way. Because my aim is to help healthcare workers like you become wealthy in their lives and their finances whilst avoiding the burnout. So if you're an NHS worker, the only way to retire early is to contribute to a stocks and shares ISA alongside the NHS Pension scheme. It doesn't have to feel overwhelming and you can start with just £50 a month, learn how to invest on the way and increase that amount as your confidence grows too. The key is to start as early as possible so that any contributions and gains on top compound over time. If this video helped you rethink the next step, give a like and subscribe, it really helps my channel grow. And if you're band 6 and feel like you don't have any spare money to put into investing, click on this video here where I'll break down how I would manage my money as a band 6 in central London in the NHS. On this note, I'll see you in the next video.